Good day, everyone. We're starting off chapter 4, and I finished off paragraph 4, and I didn't actually really get to explain what paragraph 4 was about. So I'm just going to repeat again the summary our group had for paragraph 4, which was observation alone will not reveal the concepts, cause and effect. This can only be done when observation evokes thinking, showing one how to link isolated experiences. Now, when Steiner's talking about the Herbert Spencer quote here, he wants to point out that here he is looking for when he hears a noise, he's looking first for the concept which fits this observation. And so this would lead you to look around. It would invoke your thinking, which would make you look around for that noise. And then you would see that, oh, there's the partridge. And then that would satisfy that experience that you had and he wants us to realize that the ideas of cause and effect are not something that we just get through observation. It's something that we think about. Those are concepts. And I mean, when we're little children, we don't have that concept of cause and effect. So a child may not look for, if say they hear a noise, they may not think to, look around. Like, they may sort of grasp it on some level, that idea, but as we grow older, we realize this concept of cause and effect. And what we would do is, if we hear a noise and it concerns us, we would obviously think and then look for the observation. And if we don't care about the noise, then it doesn't matter. We don't need to look for it. But he wants us to realize that cause and effect are also gained through thinking. And he wants us to realize that observation evokes thinking, and thinking is what shows us how to link one separate experience to another. So when I hear a noise and then I see the partridge, it's the thinking that connects these two, because I think of the concepts cause and effect, and I make that connection. And that's what role the thinking would have in that example that he cites from Herbert Spencer. I'm going to move on to paragraph 5. If one demands of a strictly objective science that it should take its content from observation alone, then one must at the same time demand that it should forego all thinking, for thinking by its very nature goes beyond what is observed. And the summary for that is, strictly objective science, which insists that its content be drawn from observation alone, forgoes all thinking, for thinking goes beyond what has been observed. I don't actually think we summarized it too much. I think we pretty much took that for what it was. I know some people may argue that, we just have to stick to observation, and that's how we're gonna get our science about things. But the reality is that you're going to be evoking thinking, because that's what observation does, right? When you're observing things, it makes you think and whatnot. So true science has to incorporate thinking and observation. So that's what he's stating there. Paragraph 6. We must now pass from thinking to the being that thinks, for it is through the thinker that thinking is combined with observation. Human consciousness is the stage upon which concept and observation meet and become linked to one another. In saying this, we have in fact characterized this human consciousness. It is the mediator between thinking and observation. In as far as we observe a thing, it appears to us as given. In as far as we think, we appear to ourselves as being active. We regard the thing as object and ourselves as thinking subject. Because we direct our thinking upon observation, we have consciousness of objects. Because we direct it upon ourselves, we have consciousness of ourselves, or self-consciousness. Human consciousness must of necessity be at the same time self-consciousness, because it is a consciousness which thinks. For when thinking contemplates its own activity, it makes its own essential being as subject into a thing as object. And the summary we have for that: human consciousness is the mediator between thinking and observation, and must of necessity when it contemplates its own activity. I think this is a really important paragraph because he's pointing out that human consciousness is where concept and observation meet. And our consciousness is, as mentioned earlier, our conscious is the vehicle for thinking and for observation. What else did I think was important? What I thought was important was when he states human consciousness must of necessity be at the same time self-consciousness, because it is a consciousness which thinks. I think that's a very important point that he makes here, and I think that's worth thinking about on your own time and whatnot. And when you do think about things and you direct that activity to yourself, you're making your own self into a thing as an object. So that's where self-consciousness happens, and I think that's a very important point he makes in that. Okay, I think that's all I'm going to say about paragraph 6. I just want to repeat again what I think is a very important point in this paragraph, is the idea that human consciousness must at the same time be self-consciousness, because it is a consciousness which thinks, which I think is very important. I think that's all I'm going to do for today. Hopefully we'll cover some more ground the next time that we meet. So I look forward to meeting you guys again next time. See you later.